We're live and you get a phone call.
Yeah, he's probably asking why I'm not going live.
We are live now, ladies and gentlemen. Who do we got in here? We got Mr. Anderson talking about a cow elk he got by Bonito Lake. Look at that. I knew Benny wouldn't miss it. Benny's always got to go to the right of us because he's way far to the right.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Look at he even packed his little headset.
I know. He's a traveling podcaster.
We got Daryl
Dude,
Wiggins, Rick Cooley,
I am ready to be here.
Koss River Ranch, West Siberian Leica, I pronounce that right. Tim B, James Myers, Hazelnut Hounds. Uncle Papa Johnny's here. And he's fussing at me already about being late. I had an errand I had to run. Sorry, guys. Liska Adventure Boys. Hello from Alabama. Bill Herring. Minx 95. Wayne Bisbee's here.
Wayne.
We can't tell anybody because he's at work.
Yeah, so detract that.
Jared Fisher.
You didn't say which Wayne.
Clabber Roach. From Daniel, Wyoming. Trevin Hall. Randy Riggs. John Page. All right, guys. Where in the world is Benny right now?
Sun City, Arizona, the land of the old people.
Well, you fit right in then.
Older than him.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You drive around and look at those big water reservoirs they have there in Sun City. I installed the cathodic protection on all those tanks. I used to go over there and work quite often.
Yes, you've made as many circles and loops as I have.
I've made a lot of circles and loops. Worked in just about everywhere. One of the only places I refused to go was California.
Hey Rick, you gotta these days you gotta explain what kind of ice you have. Immigration and customs, or they're all over the place too. They're all over the place.
We're gunning the rabbits already.
Have you seen an increase?
I've heard of an increase. You know what the funny thing is? That I see a lot of TikToks and Instagrams where the guys are like, "Hey, man, I'm so sad. My mother-in-law is a illegal alien, and I hope they don't catch her. You know,
Oh wow.
over at 448 West Peanut Street. If you know, I hope they don't go over there to 448 West Peanut Street to catch my mother-in-law and deport her."
Mr. Anderson, I got to ask you, what did you do? Am I having a brain fart here?
Boy, there's a loaded question.
I have a lot of them.
You worked on my projects many a time. Uh-oh, is that good or bad?
I don't know. Depends on the project.
Mm-hmm.
Worked all over the place. I enjoyed working over there at Sun City. I worked in Kansas for a long time. I did not enjoy that. Junction City, Kansas.
RMCI.
Oh, RMCI. Yes, sir. Did a lot of work for RMCI. DNR tank. We did all the DNR tanks work. And then, there's bunches of them. We were just a subcontractor, so we worked around a little bit everywhere. Water tanks, pipelines. We did all your bonding on your ductile iron pipe. Continuity tests, all that stuff. That's
Small world.
Pretty high tech for a bunch of houndsmen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, where's Richard Fight? I met Richard Fight at the Game Commission meeting and spent most of the rest of the day with him, and I guess he's still recuperating.
Yeah, they have a little bromance. Went on a date and everything. Jeez.
Speaking of that, Cody King. If you guys are of a mind to, say a prayer for him. He got an infection. I won't even show the picture he sent me.
No, you don't want to show the picture.
Because, I mean, it's awful. They split his arm split all the way down, just peeled back, just red meat showing. It's awful. So if you're inclined to, say a prayer for him. I've tried to. He sent me the text and said he wasn't going to be hunting for a while, and with the text he had the picture of his arm, and I've tried to text him back, and I tried to call him, and there's no answer.
I was talking to him. What is today? Monday. I talked to him Friday, I think, and he said, "Man, my arm is swollen and killing me." And I said, "What is it?" You know, I don't know. I just woke up that way.
Well, he sent me this. He sent me this on Saturday, and
the picture.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But guys, it's not good. I mean,
you don't want to see
terrible. No, I can't show it. They'll probably kick us off the internet.
You know that. You know, if you watch the Terminator and he gets his arm cut up, and it looks like a movie prop.
It does. It's awful. I've never seen anything like. I've seen the same thing like on a horse, where they split open.
I've seen it on a dog, strep A.
Yep.
So, I feel bad for the dude.
Yeah, it
was hurting him. It was hurting him. He was trying to type. He was typing to me, and he's all, "Be patient, Chris. I got one arm." He's just pecking away and sent me some stuff. And
yeah, he had told me that his arm was hurting, and I told him, I was talking to him on the phone. I told him, I said, "Well, man, go to the doctor, find out what's going on." And I guess he finally did, because that picture is him in the hospital. So I guess maybe they had to split it open. I don't know. It looks awful. Hey, Brett took Opal out yesterday on a tracking collar, and I walked her out about a mile, and then I let her go, and I watched her on the Garmin, and she ran up the hill and was sniffing in circles. Well, at least she's sniffing.
That's all that matters, no matter what she's sniffing.
Yep.
Let her hunt. Let her hunt.
When are you coming back to the land of entrapment, Benny?
I haven't decided. I don't know. My wife said that I could come back tomorrow, and I said, "Why?"
She gave you permission?
She said, "Yeah, well, she actually made a request." And,
she requested you stay gone.
Well, she said she was lonely.
My goodness.
Maybe it's reverse psychology.
Man, if
tell
my
Benny
wife
to do something,
if my
she
wife
knows
ever
he won't.
If my wife ever told me she was lonely, I'd just beat a track back home. Boom.
Well, that's what she was after, but she said, "And if you come home Tuesday, you can get here before the snow." And I said, "Yeah, I think I'll wait." Nothing against you, dear, but I just don't want to be around the stinking snow and to sit there and just feed the wood stove all day long. Yeah, forget it.
It sounds like a rattlesnake bite. That looks like a rattlesnake bite. It looks worse.
It looks like one that swole up and split open, is what it looks like. Except it goes from his wrist all the way into his bicep and twists around his arm. Guys,
I know.
I've seen a lot of stuff, but this is bad.
Yeah, unless they cut out the infection, they're going to sew it back.
I imagine they were sewing it, but I don't know. They have to do some skin grafts and stuff from the way that thing looks. I'm sitting here looking at it. I don't want to.
It looks something like out of a movie.
So what have you been doing? Give us an update on the Arizona Working Dog Alliance, Chris.
We could show it in case we're too boring for somebody or anybody.
or if we make people feel dumb.
Yeah, I don't want to make no one feel dumb. Anyways,
actually, it's probably a bad attitude, but I don't care how we make people feel. We're here for our enjoyment.
That's Benny.
Yeah. It's just. I wondered why Cody didn't answer me this morning. Yeah, he's probably not feeling too good with his arm. No, I'm just trying to get members, and I'm still getting members.
Are you?
TikTok here and there. Throw them on social media.
This podcast, what do you call this? A podcast live show, whatever you want to call it?
This live.
This is a live show, and it's sponsored by name only, Arizona Working Dog Alliance. So go join. And then also from Valu-Pak Dog Food. They are sponsoring us. I appreciate it. I fed that dog food years ago, and then we lost our dealership. The company that had the dealership here lost it, and I couldn't get it. Just so happened that a hardware store that I know the owners, they were looking for a dog food supplier, and they started carrying it. So it's good stuff, and they support houndsmen. And that in today's, I mean, Garmin doesn't even support houndsmen. Garmin won't do nothing for a houndsman besides make good stuff. I mean, they, like I said, we should look at it the right way. Maybe that we should be happy that they make the good stuff for us.
That whatever.
Hey, I mean, we just bowed down. Just.
Yeah, whatever. Without the houndsman, there would be no Garmin tracking collars because they bought out Tritronic, started by Dale Lee. They can pound sand.
But they make some good stuff now. There's no doubt about it. You got to sell your left arm.
Yes.
to get it. I mean, it's expensive.
Rick, he had an infection in his arm. Can you tell us what happened to Cody's arm? He got an infection in it.
It was an infection, is all I know. And I've tried to call, and he doesn't answer. I'm sure he's laid up. Probably got him sedated.
Chris Raff off a line hunt. It's funny you say that there, Johnny, because I just talked to Jared about it, and we're going to. And it's probably going to be for next January, though. But it's going to be a fully outfitted lion hunt. I'm going to cook. And Jared's going to catch you a line. He caught doubles the other day. Doubles. Hey,
speaking of that, I've got some clips that I took. I started working on the Warner Glenn interview. And it's been, what was it, about a year ago, Benny?
Just over a year.
Little over a year ago, we went over there and got to sit and talk to Warner Glenn. And hunted with John Klump while we were down there. That was and of course the interview for John Klump is on the YouTube channel, this YouTube channel, and then it was also on W Hunting Supplies podcast. So, and then I've never published the Warner Glenn. Honestly, I tried to use it for bait to get some sponsors so I could go interview more people, and I guess I wasn't using good enough bait.
Nobody cares. Nobody, trust me. I know right now that houndsmen, a lot of them just don't care. I've literally personally been texting people saying, I don't see you on the membership list.
I'm not on the membership list, but I'm going to join it. I just haven't got around to it yet.
I got more out-of-staters. I had someone from Idaho just sign up. People from California. I got a lifetime member from California, $1,000, guys.
Well, with what I was wanting to do, of course, I was always really fascinated with what Bruce Kennedy did. And then when I got access to the Dale Lee tapes, I mean, I did all that in good faith. I wanted to show that this is what I can do and this is what I'll do for free. I could have tried to put it behind a paywall or something like that. And I just thought that once I showed good faith and then I went and traveled, did some of these interviews, that there would be, enough support where it would at least pay my way to go do it. But, houndsmen are probably like me. They're broke all the time. So
nobody wants to give up a dime.
Yeah.
But in the same sentence, how much Copenhagen and beer and cigarettes and Dr. Pepper and beer do they buy?
Stuff that's bad for you.
Yeah, I don't drink. This is my cigar, I think, from last week's show. I put it back in my humidor. I haven't smoked all week. No reason to. So I gave
up. Hey, I gave up my smoking and drinking so that I could join, and that should be enough for anybody else.
Benny's a member, and plus
Benny's an Arizona native, though.
Yeah, that is true. Yep.
He cut his teeth hunting lions in Arizona.
Yep. Boy, there's a lot of political stuff going on around the United States. Wyoming, New Mexico, your own state.
Enlighten us.
SB5 in New Mexico. They raised. Did you hear about that, Benny? They raised like the license by what 75% or just all kinds of stuff. If you can't make it illegal, make it too expensive.
Was that who? Now, who was? Where does that money? Does that money go to the Game and Fish, or what? Where does that money go?
Well, and aren't they changing the name to what are they? I don't know. They're changing it to. We're going to talk about it on Wednesday for sure. But
Oh, come on, let's talk about it right now.
well, I don't know a lot about it. They're changing the name to like shoot. What are they? New Mexico. I don't know. They're changing the name.
The Game
It's
and
not going
Fish
to be.
Department
Yeah, which kind of opens it up for some weird stuff.
for some animal rights activities.
Yeah, yeah. John Nutter or John would know better. John, I
Rudder,
always forget Rudder,
Rutter,
and he's trying to
So,
get memberships and get people involved.
so Brett, whenever Bill Richardson was governor, they took the money from the Pittman-Robertson Act, which is supposed to be by federal law go into the game commission, go or the game departments. It goes into wildlife stuff because it's sponsored by the sale of anything wildlife, fishing and hunting, and you know ammunition and fishing poles and
Yep,
all of that. And
there you
so
go.
Bill Richardson pulled some kind of stunt, and he put 100% of all that money into the general fund. So now New Mexico is just a big slush fund. So it doesn't matter what they raise it to; it's not going to the game department.
Well, what they're saying is when you change that name and you change everything into it, they're going to start dipping into that and stealing that money for other things,
They've already
right?
been doing that's my point.
Hmm.
Since they've been doing it for, let's see, we've had short britches for 6 years, we had 4 years, and then we had 8 years. So that's I guess that's been 12. We've been doing it for 16 years already, maybe
Yeah.
maybe more. Where they Bill Richardson started that, and everybody, not everybody, a bunch of sportsmen raised Cain, but there's nothing you can do in the face of an overwhelming political party that wants to do what they want.
Oh well, I'm no good at politics, so I leave that up to
Yep.
Chris.
Well, just join your New Mexico Houndsman Association. Let them worry about it. That's John's job, and he's working on it. He's talking to people and making a big stink about it. And that's all you can do. I mean, we got SB or HB 2552 that they're trying to do. I don't know if it's going to pass. We got Democrats. We got a Democratic governor, which is weird for Arizona, but it is what it is. But they're trying to make it to where the Game and Fish, you can't take dogs out of the ARS 17s. So they can't say you
What
can't.
do you mean? You can't take? Oh, you can't take it out of that law,
Yeah.
or
AR 17 is our Game and Fish laws. So they're trying to make it where the Game and Fish can't say we can't use dogs. $60 million was stolen from the Pittman Robertson Fund to bring wolves into Yellowstone. So you're bringing wolves. Is that conservation in their eyes? That's what they're doing. They're piggybacking these. And Wyoming has something going on too. I just kind of seen that from Luke. I think it's Wyoming. And then Nevada has stuff going on.
He said November 2024, lawmakers proposed renaming the New Mexico Department of Game and Fish to the Department of Wildlife. And then he says the proposal name change would expand the agency's mission beyond hunting and angling to support animals more broadly. That's BS.
There's liberals in every state trying to. Yep. This is why, like, I just talked to Chuck Podolak tonight or this afternoon, and I have to kind of ask his blessing. What do I say? What do I don't say? And he enlightened me on some stuff, and they know. These people know if we're going to pass, we're not going to pass. The antis know what to do. They have an agenda. They have a strategy. That's the difference between the antis have a strategy and they got people who actually care. But they also manipulate the common public to give them money for conservation. So I have to do the same thing. Hence, Working Dog Alliance, not houndsman. Bad word. Just like kill. Yeah, we want to say kill, but it's harvest. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
No, we don't, but the common public does. That's the deal. It's the common public.
The common public is just ignorant over what we do. That's what the problem is.
It is the problem.
Go through and read the comments on my Born 100. That's got some of the videos got over 200,000, 700,000 views. Just read the comments, and you'll know what the general public understands. They don't know. They just don't know.
Yep.
They have a vision in their mind that somebody has put in their mind of what they think it is. They think it's easy. They think you just turn a bunch of hounds loose and they run something down screaming and barking and run it up a tree. They don't realize everything that goes into it and how hard it is.
Well, how many hound associations do you know that go out of their way to inform the public of that?
How do they inform them? Where do they inform them?
Just like the anti-ant hunters inform them.
They have people that support. They have people that support them.
Oh, that's why they win.
Exactly.
We have people that don't do nothing.
Exactly.
They can't even give $50 for somebody to do something.
Well,
so,
get used to it.
What do you do? What do you do? Give up? Not do it no more?
So Chris,
early on, exactly. That's what you do.
Early on in the comments, somebody asked, how did the commission meeting go? So you and your kids, all except for my favorite welder, you all got up and spoke. So how did the commission meeting go?
Oh, I think they enjoy kids. I mean,
that was obvious, wasn't it?
Yeah. And they have a favorite too, So I think people think, so this is what makes me a little angry, is offense. That's all you hear is offense. Offense. Oh, you guys us hunters need to do offense. Well, where was everybody Friday? There's a couple hounds guys there. That Bryce Box, he spoke. That guy can speak. I can't speak. I'm the guy that makes you dumber listening to me. So, I mean, this is like my first rodeo when it comes to playing politics. And that's all I told them. I'm just the fly in the ointment, guys. I'll be back. We all know that's coming. We'll be back again. And people understand if there was 50, 60 hunters, not just houndsmen, every game and fish, but there wasn't. There was only, 10, 15 of just people there that came. That room should be packed full.
There was a gal there that was talking about trapping.
That's Valerie.
Did you catch up with her, Chris?
Yeah, well, I talked to her last night, yeah. So she did a live last night too. But she went, I tried to go to that award banquet, and she found out some stuff there. I should have stayed. I had to get back, but I need to just start staying because I guess they talked about the hounds at the commission meeting after even. Both of those. Geisler is his name, and then Hernandez. So I gotta make a day of it and make sure you stay and talk and shake hands, and I'm a victim of my own shame when I say you guys got to show up, but you got to show up and stay. Somebody has to stay and talk and listen. I wish I would have stayed.
Well, I was there. I told my wife, I said, hey, if I take off for Arizona on Thursday, I can go to the game commission meeting on Friday morning. And she says, but you're not in Arizona. And I said, I'm not going to introduce myself and tell them anything. I'm just going to be there and they're going to know. And that's all you guys got to do. You don't have to be counted as I live over here at 43rd Avenue in Dysart, or none of that matters. What matters is that they see that it's not going to be free. And this past Friday, it looked like it's going to be free. There were no antis there because they're regrouping. They're coming in for the jugular vein the next time. But you
Yeah.
can't make a strong showing once a year. You guys have to get involved.
You can't make a strong showing when shit's bad. I talked to some Nevada people and I said, "What are you guys doing?" And then John Rutter just texted me, "I got other news too for Brett. Brett, you got to check your email from Jason."
From Jason Doobie.
Should I steal Brett's thunder right now?
You can steal whatever you think
The
you can get away
coffee
with.
is ready for sale. The coffee is ready
yes,
for
sir. Yep. That's the first time I've seen it, guys.
He just said, "Hey, I emailed a message, Brett, the links to his new coffee, but he is unaware. You might mention it to him. It's up and ready for sale. Check your email, Brett. Check your email."
So this
And New Mexico, John said that the trappers in New Mexico aren't doing shit. Everybody should be doing shit. Like the elk hunters, everybody. It's not. They're not just going to stop. They know this. They haven't. They just keep going.
Okay, so what needs to be done? Spell it out.
You have to get involved. You have
okay,
to.
Okay, that's a broad. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You wait a minute. I'll turn you off. That's a broad statement. Be more specific.
Well, I got to start somewhere. You have to get involved. Now, if you don't,
be more specific.
I'm going. If you can't go talk and you don't know, you have to pay somebody to do this. So you have to get, like, let's say New Mexico, you have to get with an organization. I don't know if there's any other one besides New Mexico Hound. John's trying to get it back together. It went to shit. That's what happens. He's trying to get it back together and he's by himself. But I mean, I'm not by myself, but I'm doing stuff by myself because everybody else is working. I'm just a loser at home. So I have time right now. So you have to get involved with somebody.
So what you're saying specific is get involved with an organization.
Yes.
Like the Nevada Houndsman Association, New Mexico Houndsman Association, Arizona Working Dog Alliance. Mm-hmm. Get involved with something like that that's going to go to these meetings and have their ear to the ground and find out everything that's going on.
I'm involved with, like I said, I'm the guy that makes you dumber after you listen to this podcast. But I talk to people who aren't dumb. I talk to Conserve and Protect Arizona. They're boots on the ground inside the Capitol. They let me know what I can say and what I can't say. Obviously, you don't want to come out and tell everybody your plans. Hey, we're going to petition the Game and Fish for this. They keep it quiet. They keep it a secret. Those antis keep it a secret to the last moment and they pull the trigger like a tripwire. They don't want you to even see that wire until you trip on it and it's too late.
Here you go, Ted. The New Mexico Council of Outfitters and Guides has a paid lobbyist, Carrie Romero.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So what happens is when, like me, I got with Conserve and Protect Arizona. So if you those are a broad ban everything. If you're a dog guy, you want to get. See, that's why I made it. I try to get everybody just involved. Period. I mean, I'm talking to California, Nevada. I'm talking to Colorado, Utah, Idaho, New Mexico, Texas, Wyoming. Everybody has to be together. And I just talked to a guy that knew the president of Nevada, and I said, why don't we swap affiliations? And my members are now your members. So you get all their emails. You can send them all this stuff. So when you go to these, it's kind of like a national organization. If everybody shares members, it's just an affiliate member. And you go up to this organization and say, I'm 200, 300, 400 strong. It looks a lot better than I got 20 people. I represent 20 people. You want to represent as many houndsmen as you can. Nevada's going through a thing where that's going to put houndsmen against houndsmen. Some people want a tag for out-of-state houndsmen, a draw. Some people don't. Just like Idaho. When you start putting stuff against how you got to work together, when you start working, even if you're against each other, you have to work together to figure something out. Because those antis are smart. They're smart. Just like those two girls that infiltrated the calling contest. They do that. Make phone calls, emails. I found out the SB 2552 was sponsored by Lupe Diaz, but you don't want to, like right now in the game, you don't want to just pile him full of emails. We have a governor that's a Democrat. Is she going to pass it, veto it, say go f yourselves? I mean, if you think about it, how fair is things when your president or your governor just can say, nah, vetoed, nah, executive order, you know? So you have to have somebody that stays coherent of what's going on and can, in layman terms, come back and tell you this is what's happening. And that's what I do. I got Chuck Podolak with Conserve and Protect Arizona. He's like the Dan Gates of Arizona. So he makes me not as dumb, so I can explain to people, hey, and you can go, and if you don't like your hound association or whoever, then go to somebody else. Go to we have Conserve and Protect Arizona, Conserve and Protect AZ.com. Go
and they're
donate
and they're pro hound hunting.
They're C4. But I know I'm making some waves because I got people bringing me up. He said your name came up and your organization. I passed out cards at the Game and Fish to legal people, to not so legal people, like everybody I could. I went to the Camo at the Capitol, passed out cards to representatives, senators.
Look at that. And I didn't even turn him off. He just frozen. Maybe everybody's frozen but me. Do.
I can hear you. I can hear you now. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but you're still frozen. Benny's not frozen.
I don't know.
You're fuzzy.
Yeah.
I didn't turn him off. I didn't turn him off, guys. That was. I almost did a minute ago, but I thought I was going to have to mute him.
This is Brett, though. Brett hates politics.
I do.
I don't know. Let us bring it up on the show. Why would you know better? Maybe we should turn Brett off for just a little bit, talk about it, and bring him back on.
That's what you got Wednesday nights for, Chris, is for your politics.
That's what I said. I talk about it Wednesday.
Well, I wanted to know specifics. I thought it would be good for the people, because you sit there and you think, well, what can I do? What can I do? I can't drive to Arizona and go to a meeting, but what specifically can we do?
Email, find out who sponsored the bill. Email them and say, thank you for sponsoring this bill. I did. I reached out on Facebook even, and I messaged them.
Where do we find these emails? Do you have those emails listed on your website?
I've posted them. I posted the Game and Fish. I'm still working on the senators and all those guys' emails.
You're going to, eventually you'll have those posted on your website.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Then you can make a big old statement, say, well, please send a letter of support to these. There you go.
Whoever's doing it, send them money, and just tell the guy, hey, thanks for doing this for us. I get it all the time. Thanks for doing. And a lot of people forget. I literally text people and call them out. I don't see you as a member. I don't see you as a member. And
you haven't texted me.
I shouldn't have to text you.
How about Benny? Benny's a member. You already said Benny's a member.
He is a member, and he donated $100.
Benny's rich, though.
I know.
He can afford it.
Richard Fight donates $100 every time I go to the Game and Fish meeting. So it costs a lot of money, man. I'm telling you, these guys that say, oh, Dan Gates just spent money and went out to eat. What do you want them to starve? You want them to buy? There's people I've talked to that says I'm 8, 10, 15 grand deep on my own money. Shoot, I bet you I'm 3, 4, 5 grand deep just getting the C3 started. I don't expect that back. So, but no one was going to do it. I don't want to do it. I'll be honest with you. I have to do it because no one wants to do it. And you can't just all of a sudden start something when crap gets bad. Oh, look, they're coming after hounds. Let's get together, guys.
It's like shutting the gate after the mules get out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And locking it.
Well, there was that woman that got up and she talked about the trapping and everything else. And I thought afterwards, I said, well, but trapping's illegal in Arizona. It was that way when I lived here. And yeah, it's illegal except on private ground. And they're still talking about what can we do on private ground. Well, I struggle because my nature is give them the finger and don't tell anybody and do whatever you want. It's private ground. But then on the other side of that coin, here's somebody that's up there fighting for the cause, hoping to regain a little bit of ground for people that don't even acknowledge that she's up there fighting for them. And so when you've got somebody in the fight, you got to do whatever you can. Colorado was a prime example, but Colorado's behind us for the time being. It's not over with. But so now that everybody's going to celebrate and have a party and get drunk over Colorado, and everybody's going to be passed out with hangovers while they go after all the other states, that shouldn't be acceptable either.
Nope. And that's why I'm just trying to stick with the same way they took it away is the same way you can get it back. But who's going to petition the Game and Fish for it back? Why not?
Well, does it have to go to a public vote?
It goes petition for the ARs to the Game and Fish, and if they deny it, then it goes to legislature. And if you can't get it passed through there, then it goes to ballot initiative. It can work the same way to get back trapping.
So the petition is based on signatures?
Yes, you have to have signatures to get it.
So it's got to go to the public. It's got to go to the public to get those signatures, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You got to go. I have the packet sitting right over here. I have no clue about the Game and Fish petition. I'm kind of giving away what I'm going to do. But I'm just going to petition the Game and Fish. I'll tell you guys right now. Are they going to kick it? Probably 10 times. I have nobody to write my petition, so I have to learn by default. I've been told 100 times by these guys that took over Hound Association, said, it sucks for you because you starting from scratch. And I am. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing the best I can. I'm not public speaker.
You're doing good.
I got 44 members in 3 weeks, and we've raised over $6,500. And that's me doing it when I can. Could you imagine if you was a paid person and you just got to go out there every day? I would be in my office 12 hours a day. It takes me, just like Dustin said, 2-3 hours a day. I'm just making TikToks or answering or sending stuff or reposting stuff. I'm going to people's pages and liking it, saying, hey, here I am. I've probably gotten more. I know Brett gets angry. I'm about to make him mad. But I get more response off of TikTok and memberships than I do Facebook.
TikTok's a bunch of...
Did you just hand gesture me? Hey, it works, and I'll use it until it don't work.
How do you know it's working? What's your payoff? How do you realize it's working?
Because they email me all their stuff and say, I know who it is off my TikTok. They see me on my TikTok.
So how many? You've gotten lots of emails off of TikTok then?
I've gotten probably 20 members off TikTok.
Have you really? That's good.
Yeah. The rest of them are TikToks I posted on Facebook.
Probably all a bunch of Chinese.
Hey, their money's just as green as mine.
Oh.
Right?
I gotta address Tim B's. We can't tell all the stories me and Fig have been through because that was back when I drank. I don't think the statute of limitations has run out on some of that stuff. Whoop, we froze up again. Now we're back. I don't know why it's freezing up. That's Elon Musk's problem.
I emailed him and said $165 a month, and I'm having trouble with my lives. What's going on? Just today.
That'll go into that basket that nobody ever looks at.
Yep.
All right, let's change the subject. Me and Benny.
Done with politics.
Yeah, this just makes me... I'm not good at it. I can promise you that. Nobody wants to pay me.
It's no fun to talk about.
Nobody wants to pay me to go to a legislation session or one of those things. I'll guarantee it.
I would love to pay you to go to it just so I can watch it. That would be a viral video of Brett getting arrested and drugged to jail. We'd have to spend all that money we made on the video to bail you out.
I don't want to do that.
I mean, 90% of it's common sense, honestly. It's just now with the politics, you have to jump through the hoops. You have to jump through the hoops, and it's hard for people. That's why as houndsmen and our hunters, outdoorsmen, we don't play that game nice.
See, I did government work most all my life. So I had to jump through hoops all the time. And now that I've sold my business and I'm retired, my hoop jumping days are over.
Then pay your houndsman guy, your association, $50 and let him do it.
I'm giving them free advertisement here.
There you go. New Mexico Houndsman Association. Go sign up if you're there.
John Rudder. I've never got an email from him or anything. He probably doesn't know my email. So I've never been reached. They've never reached out to me.
No, he's just getting back into it. It got really low, and he's
tell him to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to mention them and bring it up. I'm in for anything that's going to help the houndsman. I mean, and whatever it is, that's just like all those, the Dale Lee and the Bruce Kennedy stuff that I put up. I could have tried to put it behind a paywall, but I just made it public. Anyway, speaking of that, me and Benny got to go to Arizona last year, and we got to spend, how long did we spend with Mr. Clump, Benny? 5 days, 4 days?
Yeah, 4 or 5, somewhere right there.
8 out of 1 frying pan.
That you found that had rat crap in it.
Well, he cleaned it out. He wiped it out with a paper towel.
And that's the only time. That was the only time it was attempted to be cleaned to any degree.
And I would have been a little bit more civilized, and I would have thrown that pan probably in the fire and let it just burn out, and then wiped it out.
Nah, I think that's what he
did.
No.
What's a little hantavirus?
Hey, if you can't take just a little bit of natural spice, go back to your apartment life.
Exactly right. Well said, Benny.
I got to respond to Guy Fry. Hey, did your daughter and yourself see Fat Lori trailing that lion up there in those rocks on that last video? Now we're frozen again.
We're gonna have to make a complaint.
This is
to Elon.
Anyway, so me and we're getting back. I get sidetracked with the comments here. So I put together some little clips. I've been working on that interview. I honestly tried to use
Warner.
Yeah, the Warner Glenn. I put up the John Clump, and I kind of held back on the Warner Glenn because I thought I could use it to get some more sponsors and everything, because Warner Glenn's pretty prominent houndsman. Valu-Pak dog food came through. So I made these little clips, and they're pretty interesting. For some reason, Benny, when we were interviewing him, did you not sit at the table with us? Did you stand up away from the camera?
No, I was there, but I was off to the one side. You said part of the time the only thing that showed was my...
Was your what? Your stash?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I put together some of these clips, and I thought I would share some of them. It'd been a year. I'd forgot most of the things we'd talked about, but
and for some of that's good.
Well, yeah, we can't. There's some things that. Hey, there's Uncle Papa Johnny. If you go on my YouTube channel and look at there's a spread shop. And they have T-shirts on there and hoodies and everything with Fat Lori on there. She's famous. Fat Lori's famous.
I need to get one to wear on this show.
Yeah. Anyway, so here's some clips. Here's one of the clips. We'll play it, and then we can have a discussion over it if you want. Make sure it comes through.
We got a couple of good running walkers out of some folks in California. And turned out to be one of them. We had two, Hook and Horn. Mm-hmm. And Hook ended up being one of the best dogs I've probably ever had.
Really?
And Horn was just there. He just wasn't that good, but Hook was one of the best dogs, and he was smart along with it.
What is that? Yeah. What made him? Was that? I mean, what do you think? What would be the traits that made him good?
Okay, when I'm talking, if he trailed a big old bluff somewhere and couldn't get up through, he would figure a way to go around. He wouldn't waste time barking just because he couldn't get through. He would pull out and go around and get to the top somewhere.
Now, isn't that interesting? Because I have some dogs that when they get bluffed up and they get hung up, they don't go around. And a running walker, too. Cody King would be proud. I mean, because that's a big, everybody says that running walkers won't hardly work out here in this old dry desert.
There's individual dogs and everything.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you know what's neat about that, and it doesn't show, it's too bad, but you can see on the wall there's a huge painting. I don't know, how big was that painting? 6 foot by 5 foot, or 8 foot by 6 foot, or anyway, somebody painted a picture of that jaguar on a rock, walking across that rock, and that's what's in the background that's not showing.
Well, I went there to film Mr. Glenn, not the painting.
Well, that would have been a bonus.
Well, we probably got it somewhere in there, too. You're going to have to watch the whole video.
Oh, look at that.
That's why it says teasers.
That's why it's a teaser, guys.
It's going to be a good one. Anything with that guy, just listening to him talk is a good one.
Such a genuine, humble man. I mean,
oh yeah,
it's amazing that, and he treated us like kings, didn't he, Benny? I mean,
yeah,
like I was from what?
Yeah,
Fox News or something. I mean, he was a genuine, nice, super good people.
You need a shirt that says, I interviewed Warner Glenn and became 75% smarter on lion hunting.
Heck, I'm
gonna get a shirt. I'm gonna get a shirt that says, when you listen to my podcast, you'll be dumber.
The first time that I went down there, my wife, we were headed to Phoenix for Thanksgiving. We had a week, and she said, I don't want to go to Phoenix for a week. I said, yeah, me neither. And she says, well, don't you have some people in southern Arizona you want to go see? And so the Glens, Warner and Kelly, they were part of that. And so I got in touch with Kelly, and they set up a lunch for us. And the first time that we met them, Kelly took my wife. She knew that she wouldn't be interested in listening to hound dog stuff. Kelly entertained my wife, took her off and showed her all the stuff. And Warner and I sat down. But then when they fed us, you experienced that already, Brett. But they did. And I told Kelly later on, I said, hey, thank you. You guys treated us like we were some kind of famous royalty, and we were maybe even some high political razz or something, movie stars and such. Just rolled out the red carpet. And she said, no. She says, we appreciate you folks, and we like getting to know you, and we wouldn't treat other people as good as we treat other hound dog folks.
There you go.
So,
there you go.
And that's exactly why they did what they did to meet you too, Brett.
Exactly. They were, and you know, and I won't say any names, but I've talked to some people that, you know, just trying to get their story, wanted to hear how they got started and everything, and just been totally blown off. Not even, no, I don't do shit like that. You know, just, okay, I'm sorry. Just trying to preserve the heritage, you know. Here you go. Here's another one. Listen to this one.
And early in about 1950, mid-50s, 1950s, we filmed a little film for Walt Disney called Wetback Hound. And they brought a trained hound that was started, not online, but just obedient started. And he was a trained walker. And that was that was one of the smartest dogs he was a star in the picture. Mm-hmm. The picture was Walt Disney put it out. It was a live action short. And, when it was over, Daddy tried to buy, Paco, that was his name. And they wouldn't sell Paco. They had other plans for him. But Daddy, he got a Walker male out of Findlay River Chief, from, I think, Arkansas or Missouri. I don't remember. And then, a female out of House of Molly. Okay. And he started breeding his own dogs. From then on, we kind of went to train walkers.
There you go, all you tree and walker fans. Coming from Arkansas.
You done just pissed off blue tick guys.
Back out here to hunt dry ground lions with Warner Glenn. That's pretty cool.
Tim said most people that will actually sit and listen to Warner would be 110% smarter. I shook his hand. I felt like I could just go get any dog anywhere out of the pound and go catch a lion after that.
Oh, I shook his hand. I went and caught a lion the next week. I feel like I need to go back and shake his hand again.
Yeah.
No,
just don't wash your hand. Put a glove on after it.
And we're going to dedicate that podcast and that video I put out of Warner Glenn to the I can't ever remember.
It's AWDA, except I made it to AZWDA.com. So it's Arizona Working Dog Alliance.
If you like the interview and you like the podcast and the video and everything, then donate to Chris's outfit and go to because that'll do a lot better than donating to me, because I won't go to politics. AZWD, there it is, right there, ding dong.
Yeah, and you can just kind of, let me see, where am I at? You could just take your camera, point it right at that little thing right there, and it will pull it up. Here, I can move it.
Yeah, move it where we can see it.
Come on. There we go.
There you go.
Make it a little bigger. There you go. Oh, yeah. No, I made it too.
People they got the dogs from, but they kind of got mixed up in exactly where they came from, and they didn't want to offend anybody. They were real concerned about offending somebody by saying the wrong name. So they asked, please don't. We might be saying the wrong name, and we don't want to offend anybody. That's how concerned they were, how good they were, really. We froze again. Son of a... I'm going to say some bad words.
Maybe it's YouTube. Maybe it's YouTube doing it.
Maybe
the antis are hacking us.
Oh, thanks, Uncle Papa Johnny.
He did. He just texted me, and then I had two people so far join.
Good. And I don't know when I'll have the whole thing out. I'm still working on it. There's a lot of editing involved in that. Remember, Benny?
Yeah.
Because we
talked.
I left everything.
We talked for what, hour and a half?
Yeah. Well, I sat down and we started just talking. Forgot everything was still on. And
you have to.
There were some things that we really didn't want. There was people that
they shouldn't hear it.
Yeah. Just people, not anything against the houndsmen or anything. The houndsmen were all right. But if it becomes some public stuff that they really didn't care to get out.
And they got into politics.
Yeah. There was some politics involved, and that was when I didn't like it.
I noticed that you didn't pack up and go home.
No, I'd listen to him. I'll listen to him talk politics.
Well, when you're 50 years deep, 60, let's see, 70, how long? He's been doing it since he was a kid. I mean, he's doing it for 80, 90 years.
He was born in 1936, and he started hunting with his father because they couldn't raise any colts because the lions were killing all their colts. So they started hunting lions out of self-defense.
Today he is 89. He's 89 years old today.
Yeah.
Oh, it's his birthday.
Oh, today's his birthday?
No. I mean, right now. I don't know when his birthday is, but when I talked to Kelly, Kelly last week.
I thought we had a heck of a coincidence here.
Tim, I would like to say that's true, Tim. He said use live feed Chris uses, but the week before, man, I got kicked off my own show. They were running it. I had to get back on. But last week, it was perfect. I don't know.
We both use Starlink. I mean, so that's...
Yeah.
I'm not going to move just to get better reception. Here you go. Here's another one.
That was with the older dogs. That was with the blue ticks and the black and tan, the red bones. They had good noses for this. We do our hunting here dry ground.
Yeah.
Line hunt, and it's tough. Trailing conditions are tough. And they had a little better nose for cold. They would trail a track a little too old to catch. They would cold trail all day long and carry that track, but wouldn't ever quite. Well, they did it eventually, of course, but seldom trailed it far enough to where they get the cat jumped. So those walkers, they couldn't quite trail a track that old, but they would get more of them jumped and caught at that time.
How long is your interview with him?
I don't know yet. I'm still going through it.
You're still editing?
Yeah. But I'm interested when I talk to those guys. I'm interested in the dogs, and then also, the different aspects of hunting lions dry ground, what their experience has been, and the lions. I like to hear about their ideas and their what they know about lion habits and where they go and what they do and those kind of things.
That's a guy who knows lions, not just dogs.
Man.
He knows lions.
Yeah, and here, listen to this other one right here. See if this is the one. We're not freezing up during the video, are we, guys?
We only did once, right when he said wetback hound, and it cut it out. So I don't know if you cut it out or...
I tell you can catch a tom out of a country, and in sometimes a few months, sometimes a year, another tom will come through there, and they'll make the same route. And it's just traveling corridors that those lions like.
So you got a paying customer, paying client, and I mean, you're heading out. You've been in this country long enough. You know all those places to hit.
We do, especially for males. Now, This is going to sound funny. If you hit a track and it's going here and there, once in a while it'll be a tom hunting, but usually if they can't figure out, if that cat can't figure out where it's going, it's a female. But because they're more, and they're harder to trail. Number one, they don't leave quite as much scent, and also they do a lot of crooked traveling through the country.
That wasn't the one, but there's another one where he addresses that about helping the hounds, about how much he has to help the hounds, especially in the bluffs. He talks about it up in the bluffs, how, you get up in those bluffs, and I've had some experience in that, and I'm not very good at helping them, but how he has to get up there and help the hounds and help them, get around or move them to another spot, because they get balled up. And like he was talking about that running walker that he had, Hook, I think is what he called him. and horn or hook, one of them. So that dog would just sit up there and he would start moving and casting out further, looking for a way around and trying to find that track.
Hey, real quick, for you guys having problems, restart your YouTube, because last time it did this, a lot of people restarted their YouTube and got back on it, and it was fine. For you guys saying we're lip syncing, our lips are we're Chinese movie and kung fu movie. I'm just gonna lip talk, so when they restart it, they won't know what we're saying. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you guys dumber. Sorry.
Look at that. Johnny, I just got the notification that there was another order in my spread shop. Thank you very much.
You know what? Brett won't ask for money, but if you want to support Brett and what he does, go to his spread shop and buy a Fat Lori shirt, period. Buy a cup. And I want to complain real quick about Brett. He was on his show. He said, I forgot my coffee cup. Well, that's bullshit. Because I made him a coffee cup that's supposed to be stuck on his damn saddle.
I got one on my saddle on a carabiner.
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna bring him 10 of them.
I'm gonna do. I got one that's on my saddle, and I got 2 that's hanging on my horse trailer, my mule trailer.
Yep. I have one that hangs on my dog box. I have one that hangs on my trailer. I got them all over the place.
They are handy.
And I'm ordering little emblems that say AZWDA. I don't know what it's just my state little thing, and those are going to be my cups I sell for AZWDA.
I put a Born 100 Years Too Late emblem on one of those cups, and let me tell you what, those cups look like they were made 100 years ago. Now,
you know what I get a kick out of so many people I've ever talked to. They said Warner Glenn always runs those Nance Walkers. And I asked him straight up, and I said, so what about those Nance Walkers? He said, we tried those. He said, and he wasn't bad mouthing the Nance Walkers. He said they just didn't work for us in our country as good as what we already have. And he says we just have a bunch of mixed up dogs. We have a little walker in them. We have some blue tick. We have some other things, and I think that's just what everybody ends up doing when they hunt those kind of conditions. They just get what works and they stay with it.
Well, listen to the story about this. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
Maybe I was just reading Jared. He says, I need to hang out with Warner Glenn. I need to tell Warner to donate a day with Warner so I can raffle it off. It would go for $1.3 million, just like that Bighorn sheep ticket over there in New Mexico. Yep.
Here you go, talking about a dog.
Over the years, do you have like one dog that you think was the best dog you ever had? Over the years, can you pick out one that you think was the best?
Yeah, it was a half black and tan and a half walker. The mother was a black and tan, and the dad was walker, and his name was Kink. Kink.
They call those colorations high tan. Had kind of a black with a saddle on it.
Yep. Oh, Kink was more of a black and tan, though. He didn't have as much any white. But his dad was full. His dad was that male out of House of the Barn.
And he'd go catch you a lion.
Oh, smart! I tell you what he did. We drove up, found where there were 2 white-tailed bucks killed. We rode over this ridge and found these killed. We trailed in there and found these killed, and they jumped the lions. I was with them on foot. And they ran around the mountain, and old Kink went to bark and treat. And all the dogs went to bark and treat there with him. And I went up and told Dad on the radio, I said, they've got about a 2 or 3-year-old Tom trees here. Daddy, I said, we had 200. And I was talking down the radio, and Kink pulled out. He pulled out around about 100 yards, went to bark and treat. And I said, well, that dumb son of a gun, he's wind and he smells this went around there and he had another tone just the same size.
He says, you guys take care of this one. I'll go tree this other one.
and I said, golly, bonus, now you got two tones here. Get those guys down here. We'd been hunting. This is about the 6th or 7th day of the hunt.
You were tired.
And I no more said that. And he ran around the hill and barked trees again. And I run around there. He had another. There were 3 of those young tones together, and they'd weigh like 110 pounds, and they had those 2 white-tailed bucks killed, and there were 3 tones together, and Kate knew where every one of them was.
Isn't that crazy? That's cool.
That is a true story.
Now, isn't that something?
You said he's running Nance dogs. He's running Warner dogs now. Those are Warner dogs.
Oh yeah, they've been bred up for so many years just from him. I mean, and they bred their old-fashioned, black and tans into them, and their blue ticks, what they had that worked. I'm sure they bred that into them.
So when did Martin was his dad, right? Was it Martin?
Marvin.
So he came over, and he came over with his father, right?
Yes.
Marvin.
Yeah.
And then when did they get dogs? Was it before Warner was even born, or
I think
did they get them after the fact?
I think Marvin already had dogs.
Mm-hmm. So Warner's been around dogs his whole life.
And so has Kelly, and so has Mackenzie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You can't get no better than that.
Mm-mm. Now, since I use that as bait, I want to go. I've got permission to go interview Steve Smith, and Steve Smith's in the same category with Warner Glenn. And I haven't done it. I want to soon. So there you go, guys.
In order for Brett to do this, you have to go to his spread shop and buy a Fat Lori shirt. There you go.
Yesterday morning I talked to Harley, and I said, Harley, when you have enough freedom between your health and your wife's health and everything going on, when you think you're going to have 2 hours to set aside, get a hold of me, and I will go by Brett's house, and we will come sit down in your house. And he said he'd do that.
And we'll do that one for free because it's just right up the road.
Well, for you, not for me.
You travel.
In order to get Benny to go over there, go to the spread shop and buy a Fat Lori shirt so Brett can give him a little gas.
We'll put some Fat Benny shirts up there.
Yeah,
the more rats. He'll stand on a stump holding up a mountain lion by the tail.
I was talking to Dickerson the other day, and he said, "Oh yeah," he says, "and all those guys I rope with, they really like watching you, Benny." And I'm thinking the whole time about all this Fat Lori stuff. Hell, I don't know if Fat Lori's a favorite dog. Fat Benny's got to be. That's just bad.
You can order the coffee from.
Someone already ordered it. Someone already look at you.
Just on Full Cry, Jason Doobie. Jason's the one who found it for me, and he put it all together. Jason. And he did all the work. I mean, Jason did with Full Cry. So if you don't have a subscription to Full Cry, get a subscription to Full Cry, or go to their website and you can order the coffee there. And
if you wait this long, and you get a subscription through me, you might get 10% off or even more. On a Full Cry. Mm-hmm. I'm working it out with Jason.
See, there you go. We're all working together. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm talking about. Specifics, Chris.
That's how it should be. That's your National Hound Association. That's your National Hound Alliance. That's your communication hub. I don't think you need an organization to do this. It would be nice to have a nice organization that got everybody together to keep everybody informed. So if you do have an organization, get hold of me at AZWDA.com, AZWDA@outlook.com. And if you have an organization, I have on Facebook, I have a group. It's called the Dog Alliance Communication Hub, and I only let organizations in, their presidents, their members that they let in, so we can share back and forth. You might be able to look it up. It's shoot, I have to look it up what it is. I think it's just United Dog Alliance Information Hub. It's a group I started on Facebook. And it's all full of just members from other states. Just to say, hey man, we got a problem here, Wyoming. They got something going on too. I'll have to figure that out. I'm gonna figure it out before Wednesday. New Mexico, SB5. I think that's a big no-no, and it's already passed. Like the first their little vote, it's already passed. You guys got to get hold of your New Mexico. That's kind of the important one right now. Arizona, we're just kind of working it out, and we're trying to put a little oil on the ground so they slip and fall and make it hard for them to take us. But New Mexico right now.
And we froze again.
Freeze up.
Yeah, that we're back.
Oh, okay. You don't have to be a New Mexican. I have people all over the country joining me. It's great. I love it. So go to New Mexico, join theirs.
Froze again.
How come every time I talk about
it's doing it again? I don't know. I don't know what the problem is tonight.
I won't say that word no more. We'll have to have code words for it.
It's frustrating.
Go join your state group, guys. Go join your state group.
Here.
Dad gummit. Now we lost Benny. Benny gone.
Did we lose him?
Now we totally lost him.
He'll be back. He'll be back. He was about to say something important. Anyways, let's get back to Warner Glen. Great. There, what do you got to say, Benny? Just say it.
I was just going to say, Brett, you got some more merchandise stuff over there. We'll have to get Wayne Bisbee and his daughter, Penny's little friend, to come up with the Lorax with the spear, and you can sell that on your merch.
Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm. Here you go. There's the coffee. Full Cry webpage.
There you go. Do they have some sort of code you can put in, or is that it?
No code. You just order the coffee.
Just order the coffee. It's already discounted. Look at it.
If you go, OnX supports me, and there's a code. I think it's B100. Oolite, they support me with a code. Mountain Ridge Gear gave me a code. That's the stuff the panniers and the saddlebags and the cantlebag, all that stuff I use. That guy's a good guy. Eric, what's his name? Eric Lynn, up in Colorado. Walking H Saddlery here. They're here local. This guy's he's a heck of a craftsman with leather. I mean, he does really, really good work. He made me some leather cuffs and some stuff, and he's supposed to send me a bunch of pictures of all these things that he makes, and we're going to put them up. I have a website. I don't do any of that. I hire a guy to do that because if I did it, there's no telling what it would look like or if it ever even be public. It's all I can do to make I can hold a camera and I can edit, and that's about the extent of my abilities. And I can freeze up.
Yeah. I just checked my speed and I'm really good. Really high up there. I don't know what's going on. It must be YouTube. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, there you go, guys. There's the whole story. Did anybody see the video, the little video? I made a little teaser video a long time ago. Just what would you call it? Trying to get attention, I guess, is what it was.
You was shaking your ass, so they come in.
Showing some cleavage.
Big Benny.
That's what we're all after.
It's not
Brett.
Fat Benny.
Big Benny. That's a little more polite, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Here's
funny.
the trip when me and Benny did go to Arizona. That's my little effort at being cinematic.
You know, the best interviews are around the campfires or just walking around with the dogs. You know, Kennedy did a great job on just interviewing people. He's a pioneer of
sit-down interviews, yeah.
Yes. But I'm really happy with the volume of Warner Glenn. How clear he is. It's hard to hear him sometimes because he talks so low. But around that table and outside, you can really understand him.
You reckon that some of these guys that we talked about, maybe I could just go load up and go hunt with them and film it?
I think, and then you just sit down, you get off your mule, you drink some coffee. Mike Root, what a help, man, when you sat down and you're like, oh my God, what do we do? And he says, let them dogs go. And you just talk to him right then for that hour you were cooking coffee.
Oh, when we caught that Tom lion up there. And tell you what, now Mike Root, he's a hoot. Now that guy.
That's worth another interview on the trail. On the trail interview.
And I didn't film a lot of our conversations except for when we sat down and talked. But I spent a couple days with him and he had some hunters from New York that came down. But that was a lot of fun. That was an education. I got a really good education out of that.
There, Rick Cooley, there's so many people that talk to coon hunters. Is there anybody who does an in the field interview with coon hunters besides just podcast?
Yeah, Bruce Kennedy has a bunch of those. I got them here. I never made them public. I probably should do that.
Maybe you ought to put a couple of those. Maybe we'll do a show and try to get some of these coon hunters on here so we understand, because we don't coon hunt like they do back east. I mean, they're in it. They got money. They're like bird hunters over here. They got the money. They spend that money. But,
yeah.
I mean, we're out west.
Yeah, and they go compete for what?
Oh, $100,000 purses?
Yeah.
So
here you go. Let me see if I can do this.
I will, Anderson. And most of you guys, if you want my contact information, is either find me on YouTube. You can go to Arizona Working Dog Alliance on YouTube, or not YouTube, Facebook, and just message me. And you can message me there, or Chris. I don't know what my thing is. Maybe Chris MF Watson on Facebook. No. Chris MF Watson on Facebook is my backup when they kick me off. But Zuckerberg said, freedom of speech, guys. We'll be all right.
Is that what he said?
Freedom of speech. That's what he said. I think he's been called out on it a few times. So, yep, I'm easy. I'm probably going to have to get another phone just for Arizona Working Dog Alliance. So.
Oh, to be able to keep it.
Oh yeah, because I get a lot of Eastern Indian calls, and they don't know Spanish.
Here, watch. Let me see if I can do this real quick, guys. See if it doesn't freeze up. I'll show you something. I'll show you what I got. I did digitize it. I took it off of a DVD and digitized it. Let me try, see if I can do this real quick. Just give you a little taste of what Bruce Kennedy did as far as the coon hunters did, or the coon hunter interviews. And I don't know, and that was another thing I didn't make it public because I don't know any of these guys. See if I can find it here. Jeez Louise. Sorry, guys. I'm a little bit slow.
It's all right. When this goes to podcast, I'll cut out all the nonsense.
Yeah, you just got to be patient with us. Or patient with me. I wasn't ready for this. I didn't know anybody that listened to this would be interested in the coon hunting. Of course, you know. And one of the main reasons I went and did all these, and you know, did the Bruce Kennedy thing, the Dale, because I was so fascinated with lion hunting. And you know,
Arizona Working Dog Alliance on Instagram too, Russell.
Let's see if this works, guys. Let's see if this.
Of Joshua, Texas. Talk about him and his blue text. Mr. Wolfenbarger, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, where you were born and your past experiences and stuff like that, your family.
I was born in a little country town in Tennessee called Washburn, Tennessee, up in East Tennessee, raised on a farm and started.
Okay, we're with Mr. Warren Hosflower of Antlers, Oklahoma. Today is August.
He didn't whip me, but he told me, he said, if your mama finds out you hunting in this bottom, said your hunting days is over with.
Yeah. Bruce, come right here. Yeah. See back here. See that whole coon sitting right there on that limb?
Yeah.
You need this light off or on?
Yes. Need to get out in front of me here.
I rode on my daddy's back and stuck my feet in his coat pockets and hung on his back, and I coon hunted with him until I was big enough to get around through the brush. And when I was 6 years old, it'd been 1948, my daddy bought me a possum dog. It was named Ben. I never will forget him. He was an open grade dog, high tan, what we called a high tan dog back then. Tree the stink out of possums, and I'd hunt at night with a lantern in the pasture because I wouldn't get lost if I stayed inside the pasture fence. Ben got to going out from under the pasture fence and got to going, and we lived the pasture fence faced right back up to a tributary of the Mississippi called the Wolf River over here. And old Ben got.
That's pretty good. So I think I can make that better.
Those are the real deal coon hunters too. Those guys didn't mess around back in the day. It wasn't about, I don't think it was about competition as it was getting out to hunt. What do you think?
Oh,
it
yeah,
wasn't,
they
I'm
hunted.
only training for hunting. Those guys hunted.
Yeah, they were hunting for, and maybe the hides were worth something back then. I don't know. Excuse me a minute, guys.
Wayne's pretty good. He's pretty. Don't tell anybody I said Wayne's right, because it's between me and Wayne. It's not how it is. We don't compliment each other. But what an epiphany, Chris. This has nothing to do with the game. You're right. Wayne is right. It isn't about the game. You know, we do have our niche or our little genres or cliques or whatever you want to call it. But it has everything to do with the dogs that we use when chasing our preferred game. He's right. I think that we should be calling on every dog handler from bird hunting to beagles, lions, bears, and even the deer dogs out south. And that is true. That's absolutely true. It is about the dogs. Pay-per-view coon hunt competition. Norman Sterling likes like the promoter. Sterling's like the promoter. We don't have coons like they do back east. I get pictures of, my buddy send me pictures of a corn feeder with 30, 40, 60 coons on it. And I'm like, God, I just want to come train my dogs just to go get gamey and get that chase on. But wasn't it Cody King said that at every corn feeder, every deer feeder, there's lion tracks?
Yeah.
And I think people don't understand this. Nevada, a lot of lions. California, a lot of lions. There's a lot of lions. Arizona, a lot of lions. New Mexico. When a state wants to get rid of lions, there's too many lions. Where is it? I think maybe that's what Wyoming's doing. They're trying to be a Utah. Don't quote me on this, guys. This is stuff I just found out here recently, and I'm going to see if I can get Luke on Wednesday to tell us about it. $30-$35 for a large prime coon back in the 80s. Is he talking about for the hide?
Yeah.
Coon, weight?
Yep.
They're all big coons back there.
$30 to $35 for a hide.
Mm-hmm. And what those anti-hunters do, they're smart. They run these fur buyers out of the country. They make it so bad. I know the guy here in Phoenix back in the 90s. They firebombed his place with his family in it. Like, that guy said, this ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. And it's not worth it when you got a family. And what are you going to do? Shoot them? You're going to go to jail. So the good guys never win. It's tough. It's tough to win legally. That's what I'll say.
Well, that's the whole problem. Those guys don't fight legally, but when you retaliate the same way that they came after you, then you're the one that gets in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're heathens.
Remember when they were spiking trees in the forest, all of these anti-groups, so that they could stop the logging, and they would claim, hey, that last spike that took out that logger when that chain came apart and blew up his chainsaw, yeah, we take responsibility for that. Nobody went to prison. Nobody got arrested. I always thought somebody should burn down in their house.
Benny, we got a question for you. Explain this. Do some splaining. The difference between a black and tan and a high tan.
A high tan is a cross between a black and tan and a walker. And the color that comes out is a high tan. You've seen some of these dogs that have a kind of a black or a brown or tan shoulder and legs and stuff, and they'll have either a red or a black saddle across their back. That's a high tan, and that color phase is direct result of the cross between a black and tan and a walker.
My bean dog that came from Breck Bean is a high tan.
Jared Nichols has a whole slew of high tans.
That 20-buck leader.
Yeah, I was just thinking while I went out and took care of business about, we've had over 100 people in here. There should be at least 30 that joined that AZWDA with Chris. If not, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move I'm going to move over to TikTok. It's what I'm going to do.
Dang.
I'm gonna,
Dang.
Hey,
I'm gonna,
wait. And I guarantee, so this is going to start the whole deal. I'll guarantee that Brett is willing to write a check that he's not planning on cashing.
I'll move over to TikTok, and so all the Chinese can watch us talk about hound dogs.
Yep.
Trump's going to shut it down anyway, though.
There is an American-owned TikTok. It's called Clapper. I just found it.
Was there like 10 people on it?
No, there's actually quite a few refugees from TikTok that went over, because what happened with TikTok, let's just make you guys a little dumber right now, is everybody deleted their TikTok off their phones. I didn't. I knew it'd be back.
How did you know?
I knew it'd be back. There's too much money in it. All these election guys, they use that platform to get people. I seen it. Now, Apple took it off of Apple. You
couldn't buy the app.
You can't get the app now,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not bringing it back yet. I don't know why. That's kind of a FU Trump, I think. I'll be honest. That when I got back on, when TikTok popped back up, it said, "Thanks to Mr. Trump for bringing TikTok back." There was a message on there. Thanks to Trump's hard work, or whatever it said.
Well, TikTok's all short form content, isn't it?
I think you can go up to 10 minutes now. I know it's 3 minutes, maybe 10 now. So you can put.
They are catering to the younger, shorter attention span people.
It started out really short, 30 seconds. I think is what
I only caught the first 3 words of that last phrase, Brett. Could you tell me what the last of that part you said? My attention span's starting to wane.
I don't know. We're going to get into things people don't want to talk about.
Nah, don't go there.
Don't even go there.
No, boring. Let's go back to talking crap about dogs.
Do you still want one of these pups? Speaking of hounds, they just got their second round of shots today.
Did they?
Yep.
Need to.
I've had people. I don't advertise or anything. I've had people ask for them, and I sold 2 of them. But I know I promised you one if you wanted one.
I might be in Albuquerque though.
Yeah, I'm in no hurry. I just want to make sure that you still want one.
Listen, if you guys want me to go pick up a dog, go to Brett's spread shop and buy a Fat Lori shirt so he can give me some gas money to come down. And we'll film it.
If you want maybe you should offer one of those pups to Cody Lynn.
She's don't have time. She's in the academy.
Oh.
Hey, it did my heart good to see her Friday.
Oh,
I didn't recognize her. I didn't recognize her at first because her hair was up.
Yeah. She hides it up in a bun.
Let me tell you about the pups. Little bragging here. Their mother's full sister sold for $7,500. And then the guy who paid all the money for the dog up north, he's got 2 sisters. No, he's got a brother and a sister. And he called me to brag on him. So,
does Richard know Breck? Richard Dickerson? You were talking about bad names, and I'm the worst. I called him Richard. What I call? I don't know. Richard. It wasn't Dickerson. The other Richard, Rick. I don't know. He called me out on it Monday. I called him a different name. Can you please tell Richard to call Breck to call Jared? And because Rick likes Jared, Richard likes Jared. Jared wants a bean dog so bad. Listen, if you guys go to the Brett spread shop and buy a Fat Lori shirt, he will call Breck Bean and tell him to call Jared back. He's picky though. He don't want to sell a dog unless he wants to sell a dog, right?
Yeah, he doesn't. Mm-hmm. He doesn't advertise or anything like that. We traded dogs is what we did. I got a half brother, that Bean, I call him Bean. I got a half brother to that one that sold for so much money. He's really starting now. He was a slow starting dog, and that might have been my fault. And but he's real. If you could draw a picture of what one should look like, then his conformation is almost perfect, and he's real obedient. The faults I see in him is little pet peeves I have. He barks going to the other dogs, and that irritates me. And but that's probably just because I haven't hunted him hard enough.
Well,
he's coming 2 years old.
So he can stop that at any time.
He will if I could hunt him a little bit harder. I think that because after I've had him out for a couple days in a row, he's not as rambunctious. He just gets too excited when the other dog's open on something. He gets too excited and just starts barking, going to him. And I haven't tried to correct him on that because I don't believe in those young dogs like that. I don't believe in being too hard on them to start with. I turn the other cheek.
Well, they got to learn. They got to learn sooner or later. And, when a dog's barking, they get over there and maybe it's something they shouldn't bark on and then they kind of phase out. Does that young pup say, oh, man, okay, I get it.
He just runs to him. He doesn't even care what they're smelling. He's just excited.
He's a puppy.
Yeah, he's still a puppy. And he's having a hard time growing up. But he loads and he comes when he's called. He gets in his pen. I tell him to go get in his pen. He goes and gets in his pen. He's real obedient, real smart, and he's not trashy by no means. He's
Brett,
not a bad dog.
You're describing me, and I'm 65.
Did you hear me talk about confirmation?
Yeah. Well, it gets back to I'm 65.
I'm not talking about a basset hound, Benny. Oh, geez.
Me and Norman are pretty good friends. He would talk to you on the show. He also did a documentary on the cheating in competition, coon hunts. The show was on National Geographic.
Where's that at? Me and Norman. Oh, is that the guy that was on one of our video on that Bruce Kennedy video?
Maybe.
Who's Norman?
Was that one of the guys, Rick? Maybe. That might be what he's talking about. Those guys seem pretty old already back in the day.
I don't know anything about coon hunting, competition coon hunting.
The only thing I know about coon hunting is I'd go down to my local creek and train all my puppies. And I don't even do that no more because I just go out and chase bears.
Well, ever since you got that golf club with a scope on it,
I know.
Don't need...
Nope. And I'll be back there in March. I'll be using that golf club with my scope in March. You watch. I'll show it on my video.
And I still have the video interviews I did of Mr. Settles and Dennis Carson and what's the guy up in Idaho? He was on another podcast. All those guys went down and hunted with Dale Lee down in Mexico. And there's kind of a wild story about that trip. And they're all
Is that the one you're kind of waiting for everybody to
been waiting
not be a witness?
There's a lot of work. Yeah. There's a lot of work in putting it together correctly. It's a pretty interesting story. And it was one of the first set of interviews I ever did because Dennis Carson actually called me. He called me and said, hey, I got this story I'd like to tell you. And I drove all the way to Tucson to interview him. And then like 3 or 4 months later, I drove back to Tennessee to interview Charlie Settles. And I sat down and talk about a fine, fine gentleman. I mean, unbelievable. And then I went all the way to Idaho and interviewed that other guy. Well, I can't even remember his name. I always want to say Payne. He was on another podcast. Somebody else interviewed him.
Coon hunter?
No, they were all lion hunters. Charlie Settles was just a varmint hunter. He was a houndsman. I mean, that's what he did. He ran lions and jaguars down in Mexico with Dale Lee. And then he, I've told the story before, he went and hunted California back when it was legal. And then he moved to Canada and he trapped and hunted with his hounds for 5 years for a living. That's all he did. And he's just a real fine gentleman. He passed away now.
You need to look through your archives too, because you interviewed Joel Garnett that you haven't turned out.
I think they turned it into a podcast, didn't they?
I don't know. I haven't heard it, but that doesn't mean anything.
I got Hootie Shaw that they turned into a podcast, and I never shared it on my interview stories and tales channel.
I think it was Hootie Shaw, but I don't think it was the other guy, the Garnett.
Joel?
I did do Joel Garnett. I'm pretty sure.
I'll have to check.
I kind of got disgusted there for a little while, honestly. I thought there'd be a lot more support for it.
You got George that way just tonight.
Well, George Pavey, that's him. Yeah, I went and interviewed George Pavey a long time ago.
Jared, I swear Jared either watches or reads everything about hound people. Richard, this is why Richard dotes on Jared. He knows all these guys. Like he up there and he said Marvin didn't get hounds till Glenn was born. Is that true? Probably true.
He is a student of the game.
He lived in Tucson, then moved to Idaho.
Yeah.
Look at Jared. He's our encyclopedia.
That's him. I drove all the way to Idaho and sat down and interviewed him.
So Jared, all you got to do is swing by Southeast New Mexico, and we'll go to the Davis Mountains, and I will take you up to Breck Bean's house and knock on his door.
Oh,
I'll meet him.
He's already in his truck.
I'll meet him, and then I'll introduce you to him.
He's already in his truck.
Well, I'm not.
He's leaving right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm just an hour.
He's going to come through Sun City and pick you up right now.
There you go. I'm an hour and a half north of you.
I tell you what. We might be able to do is when Rick Dickerson comes down, because he wants to come down and hunt with me, and maybe I'll just tell him load up and go hunt with you, Jared. I think he'd like that.
He would. Dickerson would like it.
Yeah.
Let me see where he sent this. Brett Vaughn. I'm going to send this to you, Brett. This
There
was
you
sent
go.
by Rick Cooley.
Let me see if I can do this. Here you go. I don't even know. I don't know if it'll come through or not. And I don't even know, this is not anything that I've gone through before.
Well, you can't get no dumber than making people dumber. Just do it.
So I didn't do any big game hunting till I came to Arizona. So we went over there, and Dale was in town. He lived there in Tucson. That was his home base. When he wasn't off somewhere hunting, he would come home there, mainly because his mom was still alive at that time. Dale says to Wayne, he said, how'd you like to go to Mexico and help me run the hounds? And Wayne said, well, he says, yeah. He said, I'll go. He says, if you take George. So I said, hell, I'll go. I'll quit my job. Sounds like a good time, you know. And so I went to Mexico with him.
That was when I was trying to get Patreon support. I forgot I got a Patreon. I got quite a few people on that.
It's another way you guys can support Brett with his Patreon. And you
make
get
sure
a lot
if you do that you make a note that says you support me because of the interviews. Because I got a lot of people that are on there because of the Born 100, because of the little.
Do you have a Patreon?
Me?
On interviews? On interviews.
Well, it's everything. It's Born 100 Years Too Late. But see, what happened was I put everything, my hunting, the interviews, everything on the Born 100. And then I was advised that I was splitting my audience, that you have certain people coming in to watch a lion hunt or whatever, one of these interviews, but then I would go out and do go on a pack trip or something like that, and I would film it and make a video of that. Well, those same people weren't interested in the pack trip. So what they call it, you're splitting your audience. So the way the algorithm works on YouTube is they'll quit suggesting those videos to the same people, and you end up not getting any views. You have to beat the ground trying to get people to watch it, and that's not something I do.
Trying to send you a picture of gosh dang it. Someone sent me a picture of how it used to be in the old days. There we go. Got a ton of coons on the back with 2 dogs. It's coming to you.
I think I just got it. Let me see. No.
Benny, if you're hunting hard, like these guys hunt hard, Warner Glenn has a lot of dogs to kind of shuffle around. How many dogs does he have right now? 20?
13 is what I think is what he said, wasn't it, Benny?
Yeah, I think there was 13, because even some of the dogs that he had, he said this one's retired, that one's retired, and down there in that heat, it's hard on those dogs. It's extremely hard on those dogs.
Yeah.
But
when you got 5, 6, 7 dogs and you're hunting hard, you can't hunt them every day for a month.
That's not that's not enough. That's not enough dogs for those guys. Most of those guys like that have anywhere from 16 to 20, 23 dogs, 24 dogs. And some of them will even have the capabilities of 3 packs, but they usually run 2 packs, and they run some of those young dogs back and forth between both packs.
I was telling Jared today, you need 21 dogs, and you need to alternate those dogs to where they're only hunting every 3 days, 4 days. You could probably run a pack a couple of days, depending on if you're running or just running around trailing. But when you're hunting hard, you got to have a lot of dogs. And those guys, and then Warner, he had like 30 or 40 dogs in the day, did he not?
Oh, I bet he did.
On his old interviews, he had a bunch of dogs. I think he had 30 dogs. But when they go, they go. Those Warners, they go. The Glens.
Oh yeah.
They do some hard hunting in hard country.
Larry Hendricks hunted 6 days a week during the winter. He laid off all summer long. But I remember when he was complaining that he had to do something because he had 28 dogs.
Okay, guys. You have 30 dogs, you got to go. What's up?
Here's Charlie Settles. And I have no idea. I made this a long time ago, so I don't know.
We went to Belize. We was trying to get an outfit together and wasn't having much luck finding a cook. And Dale said, well, we might just have to get a man cook for a while. I said, what in the hell do you think people would think of you if you come to a country like this and hire a man cook? They think you're crazy in hell. Of course, I was just kidding him.
Tennessee, Mr. Charlie Settles. Here we go. Day 2 on my way to Dover, Tennessee to see Mr. Charlie Settles. Got a long ways to go. It's supposed to be 14 hours from here to don't know what I really can't get a feel for whether people are interested in this or not, you know what? And I debated for a long time about whether I should do it. From talking to the man on the phone, it just seems like, you know, he's going to have some outstanding stories. And my wife kept telling me, I need to go do this. She said, if you don't do it, you're going to regret it. My wife talked to Mr. Settles yesterday, and she just said he's so excited for me to get there, and one of the things he said that was really, you know, kind of sank in is, you know, here's an 86-year-old man, he's in the later years of his life, and he said nobody's really interested in my stories anymore. And, you know, I thought, you know, that's not right. You know, everybody's in such a big hurry nowadays, and you know, they got social media and they posting crap, whatever they're doing, and it you know, most of us keep track of it, and it's pretty interesting. But man, here's these old guys that are at the end of their life, and they've done more things than we ever dream about. And so you think that, you know, we don't want to hear their stories too. What I'm doing. I'm going to listen to his stories and hopefully get enough good content that people are interested in it, and or you know, they're interested in it and they get something out of it, and then, you know, that old man gets somebody to listen to his stories again.
Yeah, a lot of people get the idea, oh yeah, shit, they'd like to hunt, they'd like to try that, but one trip usually does it.
That's all.
To go out and catch something real easy, yeah, that's fine, but if you go out and don't have any luck, have to put a little effort into it, get kind of tired and hungry, hell, that hunting not so wonderful.
That was Mr. Settles. Still kind of gets me right here when I think about it. He was such a fine, fine man, and no BS or nothing to him. He was just genuine.
Wayne, who are you suggesting we get to go to the rendezvous?
Breck Bean, I think he's talking about.
Yeah, I would be surprised.
Speaking of rendezvous, you can go to AZWDA.com and you go down to where it says rendezvous, click on it, and it'll take you to the AZHHR page. And there's a link that you can order your dinner already.
Who's this, Chris?
For the rendezvous. It is, let me go to someone sent it to me, and it is Jerry and Donnie Quinn. They must be watching the show, but they sent it to me back when they were worth something. Yeah. Like Benny was saying, what were they, $30-$40 a pelt?
Yeah.
Someone was saying. That's a lot of money up there. Plus, I don't know where they back east. Some of those guys eat those. I've seen them. Pit them, make them good. Anything's good in a pit, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Bone Pile's he's all mad that Jared's beating him up on comments. He said he was jealous. He said, where did he go here? He said, I'm getting annoyed that Jared is trying to outdo my record for comments sent. About to get my thumbs moving. Thanks, Jared. Thanks a lot.
What
a lot
else
of good
do we
stories
got?
there. A lot of those guys that are about to expire in life. They got to tell their stories. It's better told from the horse's mouth. You know, and for those guys to remember that much, how much did they forget?
I don't know. Charlie Settles was sharp as a tack now.
A lot of those. Look at Dale Lee. God. Meticulous stories with just detailed, as detailed as you can get.
Yes, sir.
Good luck catching that skunk, Bone Pile.
The other day when
Jeremy.
Dickerson and I were talking and started jarring our memories, and we got back into some of the details of the things that took place, 40 years ago. And it's good to have an opportunity to relive all of your experiences and histories, and for somebody to be interested. That's the main thing.
I do have this Joel Garnett interview here, Benny.
There you go.
Huh. I'll be dang.
Is it already edited?
No.
Brett, you got a lot of editing to do.
It's a lot of work,
just on
man.
Interviews.
Well,
and in order to get Brett to edit, get over to his spread shop and buy a Fat Lori shirt.
Like I said, I to me, it fascinated me. I mean, that's why I did it. I mean, I was fascinated with Bruce Kennedy, going and interviewing all those guys. And then I thought, well, I can learn how to do this and do this myself. And I don't, and I'm not real good at advertising or doing nothing like that.
Oh.
And I didn't want to make it where you had to, go buy a DVD or buy something from me. I wanted to make it public. And I just thought that there would be a lot of support. And probably my lack of advertising maybe didn't get it to the right people or anything like that. But I'm going to go ahead and finish them all out. Get it done.
Start getting them out there. That's
yeah.
That picture's from that Cass River Ranch. Jerry Quinn. The coons. Said he sold the carcasses for $5. Bone pile. One day we're going to have a bone pile competition and see who can comment the fastest.
Well, and all that stuff that he's catching. Brett and I know a guy in his younger days that was just as trashy and be just as proud to outproduce him. Your Greyhound guy over in Roswell.
Oh my gosh! But he made no bones about it. He was trashy.
Oh, he loved it. He says, I love my dog just like I love my women.
Trashy. He just loved to follow the dog.
Let's see if I can find. I interviewed him too.
Here's a shout out. Let's give a shout out to Jason with Full Cry real quick. The guy on the left of the coon pick is my dad. He's 87 now and loves his Full Cry magazine. So you can thank Jason for that, buying that magazine and keeping it going. That's another.
Exactly. Yes.
And that's a brave move. That's a brave move.
In today's day and time, in today's day and time, with the internet and everything just being up there, to buy print magazine and to keep a tradition going, really is what it is.
So out of the 100 people in here, You need to go to Full Cry and get it's $36 a year, guys.
There should be
to keep this guy going and doing articles.
There should be 100 subscribers to Full Cry. I subscribe to it.
FullCryMag.com.
Does anybody want to see a portion of the David Heiss interview? I gotta have a bunch of thumbs up.
The trashy guy.
Thumbs up, guys.
Maybe they've all seen it before, because I think it is on the internet.
There's 2 from me.
You ever see it, Benny?
Yes.
I thought you had. I thought I called you up and told you better watch it.
Yep.
And I did right away. I was actually in the shower and I got out dripping wet and watched it because you told me that.
How many dog handlers would be with 16 dogs? 1.
Well, is that, I mean, what's the question? Is it how many people are capable of doing that, or how many guys would it take to have 16 dogs at once?
I take 10. I've took 10. But usually when I go, I had a 10 tied out. That's what I have my tie outs for. So I'd take 10 and then rotate them later on.
I have hunted with as many 20 dogs on the ground. And it's really kind of cool in the brush. It looks like the whole hillside's wiggling.
I've put probably 14 on the ground at a time. I'm not going to say what happened after I put them on the ground, but
hey, Brett, there's a lot of thumbs up, Sean.
Let me see if I can.
He's a member of AZWDA.com, and he's from Kentucky, guys.
Let's see if I can get this. I don't know how long it is. I won't show the whole thing though. But
throw some clips up. We need to do just.
Where they come from and.
Well, we've been breeding these dogs. Ranchers have been breeding them and stuff. They used to be, you could go to ranches around Portales and stuff, and there'd be greyhounds everywhere. When I was a kid growing up, everybody would take their greyhounds that wore out and had too many from the ranches, bring them to Roswell and drop them off in the poor part of town. They make a living eating out of garbage cans. And I used to drive down them alleys and pick them things up in high school. Take them out rabbit hunting and see which ones could really run in the back of a damned old Plymouth car. And one time there's a guy had two guys wanted to have a mass race with 2 hot bloods. They said, "Do you have a relief dog?" I said, "Well, I know I can borrow one." I drove down this alley and this little mouse-colored bitch with a deep old chest, a little old flank, grinning at you. She come up there, recognized my car, put her in the car, and they said, "Can she catch a rabbit?" And I said, "Well, we'll see. She'll help them dogs if they need help." So they jumped a rabbit. I took them out in the flat, and they jumped a rabbit. And that rabbit's going to get away from the dogs. The dogs had done wore out. Well, they said, "Cut the bitch loose." So I cut that little bitch loose. She went about 50 feet and jumped another rabbit. Took him for about a mile, run him down, caught him, bringing him back to me. Another rabbit got up. She dropped that rabbit and went out and caught the next rabbit. And them guys were just shaking their heads. Them greyhounds running. We get on that Pecos River in the winter. And
that thing is 15 minutes long. I think I got it on my interview stories and tales. One thing about David, Benny probably knows this. David is like a 3rd-degree black belt.
Oh, man.
He's a double tough son of a gun.
Yeah. Oh, crap. There was a guy that was my neighbor on the ranch was mad at me, and he wanted to whip my ass, but he got told that he probably shouldn't try. And so David and I were friends, and David David, he hunted with me a little bit, but he couldn't take it because if he couldn't see what the dogs were trailing, it just made him crazy. Because he was just trashy and he wasn't used to
Yeah.
dogs that weren't trashy. But David shod my horses and mules. He could shoe a horse in 15 minutes flat, all four corners.
He was a heck of a
And
farrier, yeah.
oh my gosh. But yeah, so he was looking, he was out there one day and me and Thurman had already gone to court and we'd sorted everything out. So David must have been talking to Thurman because David underneath that mule and he glances up under there and he says, hey, you and Thurman ever get things settled out? I said, oh yeah. The judge felt sorry for the poor old booger and he had to pay me, but he only had to pay me half of what it cost me. And he says, oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you got it sorted out. He says, you know, Thurman tried to hire me to whoop your ass. And I instantly got scared. I mean, David's older than my parents. And today David Heiss could take me down. I mean, he's just that way. And he's still I don't think he runs, but I think it's kind of a trot. A couple of miles each day around the end in his neighborhood out there in the country.
He got me my first set of mules. He called me up, and I'd been talking to him, and he called me up and said his neighbor down there was getting a divorce, and I'd been riding my good roping horses, hunting and everything, and he took me down there, and I bought those mules on the spot. But yeah, he's
the one thing that I was relieved that David knows people. David can read people.
Oh yeah.
And he said, well, I told Thurman, well, Thurman, me and Benny don't have any reason to get into a fight. And Thurman says, well, I'm just looking for somebody to kick his ass. I've had enough of him as my neighbor. And David and David says, but Thurman, Benny's not going to take an ass whipping he doesn't have coming. And Thurman says, well, what does that mean? He says, I don't want to get dead, David. Thurman, that's what that means.
And you didn't even have your spear yet.
No, I didn't have my, but David and I had already spent, I don't know, several thousand hours together through the years.
David Hunt, he ran some bears and then he ran hogs. He ran a lot of hogs.
Yeah.
And of course ran coyote.
My oldest son and I went on a hog hunt with him and before 6 o'clock in the morning on Memorial Day Monday, we had 2 hogs caught live and tied up live.
Tied up, yeah. He had. They're on his. I don't know if I show him in the video or not, but they're in his place. He had big old hogs. He had a pen where he trained dogs on hogs.
Yeah,
he's something else. I haven't talked to David in a long time. I know the people. Seth Hall over on the Houndsman XP. He's real good friends with. He hunts with David's son. And I've only met David's son a couple times, but they hunt together. And then I think Seth even went over there and did an interview with him and put it on. I think they have it on their Patreon page. On the I guess Houndsman XP has a Patreon too, and
yep.
And Seth did the interview with David on their Patreon page. So there's another place you can go listen to David. Little shout out to Houndsman XP. Let him.
I'll tell you, David presents himself as a poor backwoods hillbilly. And absolutely none of that is accurate.
Wears those old denim bib overalls all the time.
Oh, and he got a brand new pickup, and it was a Ford F-150, and he says, I can't get anything to stick to this truck. And the guy says, what do you mean? He says, I got all this magnetized stuff that I like to stick on my truck and nothing will stick. He says, well, isn't that one of those new aluminum trucks? He says, oh, I don't know. So David drilled a hole in the center of the hood and bolted down a big old chunk of carpet and put an eye bolt up there and put a chain and chained a dog on the hood of his pickup so he could go rigging hogs. But David is a retired firefighter for the city of Roswell, and he's extremely intelligent. He just doesn't want anybody to know.
It's better to play dumb. I promise
Yeah.
you. People won't expect nothing from you.
That's right. Yeah.
Hmm? And I don't know if we're that show, but if you listen to this show, you might be dumber. There you go. We're helping out the community.
Do you think they were really talking about it? Do you think they were really talking
I don't
about
know.
us?
It's an inside
No.
joke. I don't know. Shorty Gorham.
Nah.
We'll just tell it. Shorty Gorham made a post that said, "Have you ever listened to a podcast that's makes you dumber?" Of
Made
course,
you
me
feel
and Brett are
dumber.
like, yeah.
Yeah. Am
that has to
I
be
the
us.
only one? Am I the only one that's ever listened to a podcast and came out
Yeah.
dumber or something like that?
Listen, Shorty, just say it's us.
Just
we
say
don't
it.
care.
We'll bring you on. You can tell us in person.
Hey, you
Well,
might
you
even
know,
bring up the IQ of our listeners.
I've always said that if you look around the room and you're the smartest one in the room, you need to change rooms.
No
So
kidding.
there you go.
Hey, I'm the king of vague posts. So when you post something and people message you, you know they think it's that person, whether it is or not. So me and Brett are like, that has to be us. That's where we hold ourselves in the podcast world. And it might not be us, but we'll take it.
Yeah.
We'll take it because if it is us, Shorty, thanks for listening to us. We're sorry we made you dumber.
Just one more listener.
Just one more view, one more listen. That's all we need. One more download. Speaking of downloads, shoot, if we added up all our views just on this live, I bet you we're well over 50,000. I bet you we're, and then all of our podcasts, I bet you we're up in 100,000.
I can tell you. You want to know?
Yeah, throw it out there. Let's show these guys how many dumb people listen to us, or we make dumber. They're not dumb. We just make them dumber. We're just razzing you guys. We're just razzing you guys over there, Shorty.
Yeah, it's all in good fun.
I guarantee it.
Benny guarantees it. Guarantee. Probably be a good note to end on.
Yeah.
We may be dumb. We may make you dumber, but this is how many views we got.
Just on our live, we've got over 100,000. Just on the live.
Hey, Riley Clump's wife Sam grabbed a spot of your deal on Born 100 Years Too Late that you just shared. Just a little clip of us down there at the Taylor place.
Oh yeah.
And shared it on her reels.
Oh, good.
Nice. I'm going to send you a photo of Richard Cooley's uncle that's in full cry. Old. It looks like an old full cry,
Oh,
too.
cool.
I'm sending it right now. There you go. Roberts and Fee's cross country truck. Stud fee, $150.
That is old.
Is that Richard? Let me make sure that's right. I think Richard Cooley sent it to me. Let me see. Sometimes, yeah, Rick Cooley sent it to me. ACHA Night Champion, UKC Night Champion, PCA. What's PCA? Something Coon Association, maybe? Introducing at stud. There you go, old full cry. And I think you can get prints. Jacob, don't worry. I was already dumb when I came here. Well, there you go. We appreciate it.
Oh, me. What do you think? What else do we got?
I think
I got to get that Joel Garnett interview done, too. A lot of work.
Hey, my neighbor shared your My neighbor shared your teaser too.
Which teaser?
Jimmy Brown. Interview Stories and Tales by Brett Vaughn 5 hours ago.
Which one was it? The
Uh,
one I put up? I can't remember. Oh,
Last year I got.
that's the one about
It's-
Warner Glenn. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good. That'll be a good one when it comes out.
I think so. And Kelly Glenn Kimbrough, she sits in and talks with us for a while too.
Very smart, very intelligent lady.
Oh yeah,
She knows.
Anyway.
Yep.
What else, guys? Do we have
Professional Coon Hunters Association, PCA.
Oh.
Yeah. There you go. There's some intelligence finally to our show. Thank you, Jacob.
Wonder if they'll feel dumber after they've been here for a while.
No, absolutely. You know, that just shows that we're not the smartest ones in the room. Jacob Sizemore had that information. We didn't. So perfect. We get to stay.
Maybe we do make people dumber. What else we got going on? Anything? Hey, if you sign up for the Arizona Working Dog Alliance in January, you get or you donate. Listen, you can donate $10, $20, $30, but every $50 you donate, or if you become a member, you get a chance to win a TT25 Garmin collar. Did I sound professional on that? Did I sound like one of those?
Yeah. Infomercial.
And in February, I think we're going to do a raffle drawing for a side-by-side dog box. And the guy said, the guy building it said, how come you don't go to South Dog? I said, well, I guess if we was doing it my next year, we could raffle it off and just do a year-long raffle and make a lot of money. So February,
or if you had a problem with it and you called them and they just blew you off, like, we don't care.
Yeah.
We don't care. You spent, what, $4,000 with us? We don't care.
No, Thursday I went over and this guy was building a rack for stuff. Talked to him about some stuff, and he's so it's going to be a site, and we're not even going to build it until somebody wins it, and they can send us the measurements. He says it take them a week to build it. It's just a plain Jane, and if you want lights and a water box and all whatever he juices it up with, it's only going to be like $800 more. With lights and a water tank. What do you think of that?
Cool.
Yep. And he says he could build just a plain Jane one in a week. So we'll raffle it off. Probably we'll do the drawing in March. That's the plan. I'm going to try to give something away. I got a guy who says he'll donate a rifle. So maybe if he donates it by March, then we'll raffle off that in March. What do you think of that, guys? You get something. You get a chance to win something. How's that? Can't be a genius to keep this many dogs. That's a fact. We're talking the houndsman here, guys.
And you can't have very much money in your pocket either.
No. Yep. Don't have dogs and don't start an organization. It'll break you.
All right, guys.
Yep.
Let's call it a night. I'm tired.
I think so. We've done our duty.
It's been a long couple days for me. What do they say?
Mm-hmm.
Onward and upward.
Thanks, guys.
So watchword. Thanks, everybody, for stopping in. Appreciate it. Go join the Arizona Working Dog Association. Help Chris out. He's doing a good job. Alliance. He's doing a good job, even though he irritates the shit out of me sometimes.
Yes, I do. Politics. You want to get Brett mad? Talk politics.
So it's nothing personal. It's just me.
Which is personal.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys. See you next. Hey, we might have
oh yeah.
What's his name? I talked to him.
I don't know.
We weren't ready to get him.
No.
Guy from Maine that runs Bobcats. We're gonna try to get him on here.
All right.
I got a brain fart. All right.
Yeah.
But next week we got him scheduled for next Monday night. So I think if we get everything lined up right.
He was supposed to come on this night, but he couldn't. Right.
Well, and I I had a bad week. I couldn't get with him and get everything lined up. So this coming week, I'll work at it. All right.
There you go.
Bueno pues. Hasta luego.
Adios.
Brainwashed idiots.